y'all, welcome back to my channel. So listen, obviously I never come on here really with my makeup already done or whatever like that. So this is my interview type of makeup. If you missed that video, I will have a link down below in my description box. This is part 2 of like my little interview series, even though it's only gonna be 2 videos. So but anywho, that's beyond the point. So I'm just here to share some of my interview tips with you guys and how to like really do your best in an interview and really land a job. So if you want to know some quick tips, please continue to watch. All right, you guys, we're in some really weird times. So interviews may look really different right now. Some people may still be interviewing in person, while most people, I believe, are doing virtual interviews. So even though we are doing a virtual interview, you still need to be on point. I mean, like, that's appearance wise and like answering questions and things such as that. So my first tip, of course, is to have like natural makeup. You need to have a natural makeup look. You don't want to have on like some crazy shadow and things such as that, because you don't want that to take away from the actual interview. Now, we're already going to be interviewing virtually as is, so it's already a distraction, sorry. So it's already a distraction, right? So in order to combat that, you need to like just have everything at a minimum. Now, as far as hair, I would either wear like in its natural state, okay, straight natural state, or like in a low bun. Low bun is definitely my favorite. So that is just appearance wise, like face appearance wise. Now, you do want to keep everything as simple as possible. I wouldn't do a dangle earring. I honestly wouldn't recommend wearing like a big earring like this, but I would just do like a small stud or something such as that. And then for your attire, okay, you already know you're on the camera, so you don't have to do that much. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Do I have some bottoms? None of your business. Will your interviewer know? No, they won't. They'll just see the top. So I would wear some type of professional like button down, a blouse, something that shows that you are professional. Do not wear t-shirts, pajamas, a casual like white or black regular plain top. Still make it seem as if you were like in a real person interview, at least from the top up. I would definitely wear like some sort of watch on my wrist or whatever like that. I have a very simple watch that I do like to wear. Wearing a watch is just honestly like just has on it like sophistication. There's no other reason. So I would honestly just like, if you do have a watch, just like throw your watch on. Okay, so keep your look as simple as possible, but also keep it professional. All right. You don't have to come in looking like your Sunday's best, but you do need to look good. Now, like I said, these are some really weird times, and I'm obviously interviewing for a very specific job because of my program. But this is just something that I would honestly throw in. When you're interviewing for any company right now, no matter what company it is, I would honestly ask them, how did they handle this pandemic? Or, you know, something such as that. I would actually say the name of the pandemic. I can't say it because of YouTube, but I would actually ask them, like, how did you handle this? You know, ask that company, because you need to know that, because if something like this were to happen in the future again, or something even worse or more, you know, that is unsettling, like, you need to know, what would your company do to protect you? That is important. You need to always wonder, what will your company do to protect you? Okay. Now, we all know that we can never know exactly what like employers are going to ask us in any type of interview. We can basically say, like, in certain interviews, you kind of know, like, you can just be as prepared as you possibly can. But I would just say, like how I'm doing right now, moving my hands, cut it. All right, cut it. That's very distracting. Do not use your hands at all during an interview, like doing this, that, and the third, like bobbing your head. Like, keep your composure, keep it together, but also show them your, like, you know, your true personality. One of the big things, like, in an interview that I think that a lot of people get intimidated by is salary. Girl, don't play with me. You need to know about the salary. That is a question that you should always ask, no matter what. Ask about your salary, ask about the benefits, okay? Like, you need to know. Another thing that I would definitely suggest when you are interviewing is to really know who you're interviewing with. So you really want to do a little bit of research about that company. I'm not saying that you need to know who built it and what year and this, that, and the third, but you might want to know who's the current CEO. You might want to know like who is the principal of that school, or things such as that. Like those are things that you need to know. And maybe like, even like if you're interviewing like for a graduate program or a PhD program, like you need to know like who you want to work with, like who you want to do your fellowship or assistantship with, or who is going to be your mentor, who do you want your mentor to be, and like what are they studying, and things such as that. Another thing, just really quickly, like little plug, make sure you know that company's like values and like incorporate that some type of way into the conversation. Like, I don't know, if you're interviewing for like what, Southwest, an airline or something such as that, like a good like line you would say is that like Southwest really values like customer service and like friendly faces, or being friendly. So you would just like emphasize how friendly you are, and how good your customer services, and then connect all of that, those things where you brag about yourself, connect that back to the company's values, and like show them that you are an asset to their company. And this is, show them that you're an asset to this company, and you know this because these are things that you already have that are a part of you. All right, so for my last tip, or tips, or however you want to wrap it up or wrap it in, I just want to go ahead and give you guys the main thing. Ask questions. All right, so you know at the end of the interview, when they ask you, do you have any questions for me? Absolutely. My favorite question in particular, just because of the field that I work in, is how is the culture? What is the culture like at your place of work? What does that look like for you? Like, culture is so important because you want to know what you're going to be walking into, right? I mean, of course, you don't ever know really until you're actually in that environment. But just know that when you are accepting a job, and I know it's kind of like hard to get jobs sometimes and things such as that, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where you will be unhappy. All right, so if you know that by the end of this interview, like this job is not the best fit for you, then you know maybe you need to pursue another lane. However, you don't know that unless you ask like specific questions. Okay, so you ask like, how's the culture? Another question you need to ask is, what does a typical day look like for you? And then another thing that I would do, because I'm just so sassy sometimes, is I would actually have the job description, right? And I always carry like a little folder with me or whatever like that when I'm going to an interview. And so I would actually have like a small like cutlet of the job description. So I would say something such as like, I have this job description right here in front of me, and I see there are quite a few responsibilities. Which responsibilities are a priority for you, or which are a priority for this position that I am applying for? Another question that you might want to ask, because I know a lot of people are like collaborative workers, some are more independent. Ask them, what does the work environment look like? Is it more collaborative or independent? Another question that I would certainly ask is, what are the company's goals, or what are your school's goals? What is your airline goals? What are your goals? Another good question is, what are the good or the key characteristics for this role? That is a really important question, like, because you want to see if your characteristics really will fit within the company. And that can also show like their reflective thinking of where you're standing like right now in the interview. So you could just be like, what are the key characteristics of this company? What is the person's personality look like for this company? Another question, and it's kind of like a nosy posy question, but I think it's so important. Ask the person that's actually interviewing you, what do you like most about this company? That will definitely catch them off guard. Okay, but it's an important question because you need to know, like, you know what I'm saying, what do they like, if they even like the company. You will be able to tell, like, people can read people, it's obvious. How do you see my skills and my experiences fitting the needs of your company? Really simple. The last question that I would most certainly ask, like this would be my last question, is, do you have reservations about considering me for this role? All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that the main component about an interview is like that people need to understand is that like it's not a one-way street, okay? Like you need to be making sure that your needs are met as well. You need to be trying to get to know the company as well. And once they see that like you've done some research about them, you're asking them questions, you're just as involved, sold. Like they will love it. They will love you. And if not, then you would know that job is not for you. You would know that once they answer those questions that, you know, you are responding to. My last thing that I would just like to say really quickly about an interview is to always thank the interviewer or the panel, because you might be on a panel when you get an interview. Always thank them. Tell them that you can't wait to hear from them if this is something that, like, you know, want to follow through with. And then I will always follow up with a thank you email, just like, thank you for interviewing me, blah, 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 you know, just explaining, like, thank you for interviewing me for such and such position. I really enjoyed this time. I really appreciated this specific question, and you taking this specific question and then question that you really liked and how they handled that, and then talk about how you wanted to thank them for giving you the time and taking the time of their day to just, like, get to know you and interview you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. So yeah, you guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this really short series. I know that we're in some really weird times, so I just wanted to share this information because I know, like, a lot of people around me are interviewing right now, are getting prepared for interviews. I know that we're getting prepared for, like, the fall semester of, like, school. So I know that schools are, like, interviewing students. And people are getting hired. Like, this is a great hiring season because people are about to graduate. And so I really hope that you take this and share it with other people. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.